Hello, and welcome to the Random or WoT channel, a channel dedicated to self-propelled guns gameplay in World of Tanks. In this episode I will cover the experience of playing SPG units after the release 9.18, as well as why players still need to play SPGs and what are the primary characteristics of an SPG unit to look into when you would decide which tree to grind for. According to my personal experience so far after the release, playing with SPG now became a bit more engaging and rewarding, but at the same time considerably more frustrating in the end. And here's why. SPG is still capable of doing quite a bit of own damage to the enemy team, and it is more consistent from game to game. On top of that, SPG has an extra bonus to its performance in terms of larger splash and the new stun mechanics. Minor increase in accuracy and decrease in reloading time is not that obvious yet. On the negative side, SPG can no longer deal that massive amount of damage to a single armored unit as it used to be able before. All these new mechanics have resulted in a very interesting outcome. While SPG performance may have grown after the release, its win rate would probably go down. And the reason is fairly obvious. As an SPG unit, you are no longer capable of delivering the damage to where it counts the most, like taking out the enemy tank, which your allies would have trouble dealing with otherwise. Instead, your contribution to the game is spread equally on top of enemy team and across the whole game duration. I have seen this actually firsthand because in my M5355 unit during the last period of 1 week, I was trying to do the final mission for Object 260 and I had about 70 games. I can see that my overall performance has actually grown, but my win rate is about 46% for these 70 games, when my average win rate for this SPG unit is 56% for over 1,300 games. So, bundled together with the fact that SPG unit can no longer platoon with the friends, I can imagine that many players would want to minimize the time they spend playing SPGs in World of Tanks. However, they still have to do those personal missions for these reward tanks. And let's see what these missions are now requiring you to do, because after the whole mechanics for SPG was changed, personal missions for SPGs were also changed. Now we can see that all you have to do is stun enemy, stun, 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 and the supposedly most difficult one, finish the battle as top player of both teams and enable your allies to cause at least 3,500 damage to enemy vehicles by stunning or immobilizing them. So essentially it's a stun again. So you can see that not that many mentioning of how much damage you have to deal yourself, instead you have to let your allies to do all the heavy lifting and you just have to tag those tanks. And tagging is best done with an SPG unit that has the lowest possible reload time. And here in this chart I have listed artists for tier 6, 7, 8 and 9 with lowest or close to lowest reload time. In my next episodes I will go in more detail through technology tree of every nation and basically discuss how feasible or how enjoyable it would be to play with that technology tree if one would decide to. But for now I can say that your best possibility to do personal mission is to have 2 RT units, one on tier 6 and one on tier 9. Tier 6 SPG unit you would use when you need to do high number of separate stunning effects, because your reload time is very fast on this tier, if you select the correct RT of course. And tier 9 you need because you sometimes need a lot of stun time, you need less to deal a lot of damage on your stuns, and the higher tier you have the better. However, going to tier 10 could be pretty expensive for the player unless you have constant permanent premium account. So without going into too much details, personally I can tell you that I have been playing with M44 to do those missions, and surprisingly enough with this WoT chat, tier 9 French artillery. And in my next episode I will actually show you how I did manage to complete object 260 final mission with this WoT chat, just after trying for so hard for the whole week, doing it with my M5355 without any results. But for now this episode is over and I welcome you to see my next episodes, which will be released quite soon. Thank you for your attention.